So what we're talking about in this video is our general overarching knowledge of the different DAWs and what we've personally noticed using quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Who the people we know and their personality types and what kind of music they make using certain other ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna share the information with you and help you pick what DAW you should get. Right?
Yes.
Correct. It's probably not gonna be Studio. It's probably not gonna be FL Studio. I almost said Studio One on accident, but I meant to say FL
Yeah,
Studio.
we're gonna bleep that out.
You know, then again, it depends on what you're going for. If you're going for some internet money style beats, and that's all you want to do, go for FL
You said
Studio.
internet money style beats. You mean like, the YouTube beats that go, insert artist type beats?
Yes,
You think they're all in FL?
I think a lot of them do because they're. I don't know. I assume. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyhow, let's get straight into it. I got here a list of
But before
DAWs.
you go into that, I got this crazy idea of coming up with like what the popular DAWs, um, a good simile or metaphor for them.
Oh, go for it.
All right. So you got Ableton Live, right? Ableton Live is your Swiss Army knife. All right. Multi-gadget tool, right? It can do everything from stage to studio and everything in between. I think it's one of the better DAWs where you don't really feel like you need any third-party VSTs. A lot of Ableton people are proud of that. So there's
I
that.
would disagree. I hate their stock plugins.
Yeah, because you don't even use it anyway.
I've used a lot of their stock plugins. I have.
No, you don't use Ableton like that.
I can run a whole session in Ableton.
I'm
right
sure you
now.
can.
I'm familiar with it.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm familiar with it too.
They're very broad stroke and like simple. There are actually some cool creative ones in there. I can't lie about that.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, what's the next one?
Logic. Logic is the
Ooh.
iPhone of DAWs.
Nice.
I mean, that's goes without saying. It's an Apple product or whatever. You can use it on your phone. Well, not Logic, on the iPad at least, right?
Yeah, they got it mobile on the iPad,
Mm-hmm.
which is super cool because you can hook up an interface to your iPad.
Yeah, I've
with
seen somebody with an
USB-C.
iPad setup. It looked pretty dope. Like
Yeah.
it looked like a proper
And they're
studio.
getting powerful enough to run good size
With
sessions.
those M chips. Don't sleep on them. The next one, the Netflix of DAWs. Studio One. It's got everything you need in one place. Songwriting, recording, mixing, mastering. So you never have to leave the platform. Just like Netflix. You on Netflix you can play games on Netflix now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like everything. That's how because in Studio One you have the mastering suite. It's like a different DAW
Yeah.
inside Studio One just for mastering. So that's pretty dope. I think that's a good comparison right there. Pro Tools. Pro Tools is the Rolls Royce or the Bentley or the G-Wagon or whatever expensive vehicle you can think of because it is expensive. Like to buy a perpetual license for Pro Tools is like $700, I think.
That. So, like, speaking budget wise, let's keep going and then let's immediately after touch on budget.
All right. Now it's industry standard. Everybody recognizes it from a mile away, right? So there's that. And then the Taco Bell of DAWs, bro.
Reaper?
No,
Don't say it. Taco Bell of DAWs.
it's fast, fun, sometimes chaotic, and no matter what, people keep coming back for more at 2 a.m. Even at 2 a.m.
FL Studio?
Yeah.
Oh. I wasn't thinking about FL Studio because we were talking about it right before. But interesting. Is that it?
One more.
What?
Reason, the mad scientist of them all. I agree with that. Have you seen Reason with like you go on the back panel and all the plugs and it's kind of like a modular synth or whatever. It's kind of crazy to look at it, but yeah. So those are there's others. There's Bitwig. There's Luna.
That's the one I
right?
was thinking about. We forgot.
Yeah.
That's like kind of like I would say that's like sort of classy, like Universal Audio
Luna,
fanboy.
I think Luna is probably the most beautiful looking DAW. Like
It's
just looking
nice.
at its presentation, it looks
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
And
but let's get into a little bit about budget, right?
all right.
So if you, I'd say the most expensive are going to be Pro Tools, and I think Ableton is actually going to take the cake on
Yes.
it because of all the updates that you're going to have to buy if you want to stay up to date. You have to buy updates. They're not free.
In Ableton,
Yeah.
Pro Tools as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Your
that.
perpetual license is not lifetime whatever. It's you get free whatever for 1 year, updates for 1 year. After that, you have to
Yeah. So if
pay for
budget's
it.
your issue, those two are going to get cut out the picture.
Are they getting cut out, or we just put them in this like ridiculous thing?
For the budget person, like if budget's something that that's your first initial thought is, obviously all these DAWs can do a very similar thing.
Do you know why I would still put Pro Tools at the realm of ridiculous versus even Ableton?
Why?
Because you can't share Pro Tools. You can still kind of share Ableton.
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
me
Ableton's
and
like
you,
2 licenses.
Yeah, me and you can share an Ableton license.
Yeah.
You cannot share Pro Tools because it's linked to your iLock.
You can't share Logic either.
But we're in a different price bracket there.
Right. I just figured we were talking about lockdown things.
Actually, you can share Logic. All you got to do is just sign in on the person's
learning curve. Where are we going at with the most difficult ones?
The most difficult one, probably, I think Ableton. I think Ableton is the most difficult. It's the most odd of them all. Like you have
everything's
your inserts on the bottom.
That bothers the heck out of me.
When it's kind of,
and it's like backwards. Like your channel information is on your right side.
Yeah,
that bothers me. And then, like, I don't know if you can do unlimited sends. I don't think you can. I don't think you can because it's the way it's laid out. It wouldn't make sense. Like the track would get humongous unless there's a way like a drop down menu. But
I think there's a drop down.
I hate the way
there is a drop down menu. I can see it.
I hate the way the plugin list is. It takes up so much space, and they like each have their own big block.
Mm-hmm.
But that's nothing information. If you're looking for a DAW, that's something you really don't need to be thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about budget and what is your goal. So what we need to do here, right, is we need to go through the different DAWs and highlight their strengths and their weaknesses.
I already know the winner, but go ahead.
Right? So we're going to start off, since we're on the topic of Ableton Live, which is ideal for like electronic music, live performances, and beat making.
Mm-hmm.
It's intuitive session view for live looping, great for electronic musicians and DJs, amazing stock effects and instruments. The weakness is it's not as strong for traditional multi-track recording. Who should get it? Producers who love experimenting with beats, electronic sounds, or want a fast workflow for idea generation.
Okay. So for singer-songwriters who produce their own stuff or whatever, it can be really good. Especially if you're going to go on stage with it.
Yeah, I think I kind of get a vibe from Ableton producers. I kind of get the vibe of intricate productions from the ones I've met.
Yeah.
Like really detailed, when they're producing, they're kind of creating a whole song at the computer with instruments. I don't see people recording many vocals in Ableton like at all. And matter of fact, it's actually really annoying.
Like the sessions are really small, right? Not a lot going on. Is that what you're saying?
There's a lot going on production wise, but I'm not seeing much like vocal recording. That's just what I've personally seen. I've noticed a lot of intricate productions, a lot of EDM stuff.
Yeah.
I've even noticed a lot of rock stuff.
Yeah.
But I've never witnessed it in a live situation.
I will say the 3 DAWs where I see a lot of like stacked vocals and things like that, definitely Pro Tools, definitely Logic, and definitely Studio One.
Yeah.
Like stacked vocals and stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's a little rundown of Ableton. It's expensive, so consider that. I think you need to be pretty serious, going into it.
Right.
If Ableton is your choice.
Or if it really works for you, gels with you, you can try out the light version.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot cheaper.
There's a free version where you can have up to 16 tracks.
Yeah.
So give that a shot. The next one is FL Studio. which FL Studio is going to be ideal for hip hop, trap, EDM, bedroom producers.
Mm-hmm.
Strengths, it's easy to use, especially for beginners. Great piano roll for creating melodies and drum patterns.
Yeah.
Affordable entry level options. Weaknesses, not as strong in recording, in audio recording and editing as some other DAWs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just basic understanding. And it looks whack, honestly. Like the user
To me,
interface
it looks
is
so uninspiring,
childish.
like-
And it makes noises when you like bounce things, close it, open it. Verify,
like
Jeff.
animation noises.
Yeah, like haptics. Is that what they're called?
Can you turn them off?
The fact that it's in there, it's like
would.
the last thing I want to hear is noise when I'm working. Come on. Who should get it? Beat makers, producers who prioritize creativity over technical editing.
Yeah. So if you're the kind of beat maker who's like, hey, I'm gonna make my beat and I'm gonna send it to my guy Ife Love or send it to my guy Jackson Mixed It to polish it up. Yeah. FL. You know when you know how you know when you get an FL file? When you see that current and master in the
Yep.
section.
I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why this is ridiculous.
And they're always the exact same thing, current and master. Why?
Ableton's bad about like all these different tracks. Like any bit of information, it's printing it. So like Logic, say if I want I've got a reverb send and a delay send, if I just bounce my stems, it won't include that. It'll actually bypass it. But I can right click, create track. It'll only print the stems of whatever tracks I have laid out left to right. And so I think that's really nice because it allows me to keep track of what I'm actually sending.
I gotta tell you about Studio One, how it handles that.
How?
So if you have in your working session, if you have a bunch of tracks muted, when you go to bounce multi-tracks, it would uncheck those tracks because they're muted.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you have an option to put it back on if you want to.
Yeah.
Right. And then of course you can pick channels or tracks. If you pick channels, it's going to render it with effects. If you pick tracks, it's going to give you just like the actual file itself without effects and stuff. And it's just like you just pick a left or the right, and it's pretty cool.
Logic Pro. It's ideal for pop, indie, rock, and general music production.
Rock? I feel like rock would be more Pro Tools.
I would say Pro Tools and Logic are really similar in it's kind of what you would imagine gets produced in them. I've watched rock get produced in Pro Tools too. I like producing rock in Logic.
I feel like country music is all Pro Tools. If it's not Pro Tools, get out of here.
Well, then every country song you've ever done has to get thrown in the trash. Deal?
I mean,
or we can just swap the credits over to me.
No, I have Pro Tools.
Okay, Logic Pro strengths, comprehensive set of stock plugins and instruments. This is very true. Logic Pro's stock plugins, especially instruments, are super cool. Their amps, super cool. Why are you looking like that?
Because Logic is trash, bro.
Bro, it is not.
It is.
That's insane. That's absolute insane.
Yeah, Logic is not it, bro. Even
you just out of nowhere just started saying this. I've never heard you say this.
Really?
Never.
Have you ever seen me open Logic?
Yeah, when you were trying to get stem splits because they were way ahead of the
stem
curve.
splits. That was it, and I couldn't even get it because I was on an Intel processor.
That's sad, dude. What? There's no reason you could possibly say Logic is trash.
It is. It does it looks weird. The waveforms a lot of times are hard to see. The way that it does your tracks or whatever is kind of weird. You finally got rid of how it automatically, whenever you create an audio track, it automatically give you like presets and stuff like that. I know that's gone, but I left when that was still there because that used to piss me off. You pull in the piano, automatically put on the compressor and the EQ with settings on there for you. That was terrible. It was like GarageBand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when I left. And I know it's been some improvements, but yeah, that ship has sailed.
I mean, nothing you said is like some mind blowing workflow torture.
No DAW has a mind blowing workflow. No, I lied.
Okay, you
Yeah,
literally
no, no,
said
no, no, no.
Logic is trash. It's garbage. It's this and that. Dude, their stock plugins are sick.
What stock plugins?
They have Apple has a whole catalog of stock plugins.
So does every other DAW.
I'm saying Apple does, and then there's Logic stock plugins. You get all sorts of. You get a list of different things. Actually, even Jeff gets
The
to
Apple
use.
stock plugins look like they were made in Windows, dude.
What are you talking about? Have you seen their like guitar amps and stuff?
That's an Apple thing or Logic thing?
Logic is Apple.
Well, you just made it sound like it was two different things.
They have two different sets. I actually like the UI on Apple, but it's interesting actually. Now that I think about it, it just comes on every Apple computer and is universal for. You have it too in Studio One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time I noticed that, I was like, oh, okay. So I guess once you have a Mac OS,
No,
let you open it. Yeah. And then I remember one time when I tried to use hardware in Logic, it was okay, but man, I think the king of hardware integration is Pro Tools, and I'd say like a close second is probably Studio One, because they literally just did the exact same thing Pro Tools does.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me finish my Logic Pro list and then we can move on. Comprehensive set of stock plugins and instruments, great for recording, mixing, and mastering. Mac exclusive. Obviously, you think all that
That's
is,
a downside for that for sure.
but it's like across. You buy it once, $200, and for life, it'll be across all your Apple products,
Hmm.
except for the iPad. That's
I
actually
think
different.
Logic is the cheapest.
Not when you include having to have a $2,000 computer, though.
Ugh, yeah,
Then it becomes the most
expensive. Yeah, $2,000 dongle.
steeper learning curve for beginners.
No, Luna. Oh no.
Only available on Mac. Who should get it? All around producers who want to balance between creativity and precision, especially those working in pop or indie. Next.
I guess Luna's just as expensive if you think about it, because you have to have a Apollo for that.
Yeah. Pro Tools. Ideal for professional studios, audio engineers, film scoring, band recording. Strengths. Industry standard for audio recording, editing, and mixing. High level precision and editing features. Weaknesses. Expensive, steep learning curve, requires powerful hardware. Who should get it? Professional engineers, recording artists, working in studio environments, and anyone about high-end recording and editing.
I think that's fair. That's fair, but I don't think that's the truth anymore, because most DAWs, at least the ones we're talking about, you're gonna get high quality audio out of it, just as good as Pro Tools. All right. Oh, we didn't mention this earlier, but amongst both of us, Jackson's a Logic guy, and I'm a Studio One guy. So there's that. But go ahead, Studio One. I have all the DAWs that we talked about. Studio One is the most intuitive, easy to use DAW.
It's not the easiest.
It is the songwriter's DAW. It is
That's
the
what it
producer's
says.
DAW. And it now has all the things that make Ableton really, really good. They've incorporated into it now. It has a live mode for going on stage, so you can literally take a session that you have and create playlists based on that, and all the plugins, all the amp sims for musicians, or pianos or whatever that you have set up, you can create playlists and have your sounds like just click next, and it'll automatically change all your sounds to the right stuff for that song, which is what the only other DAW that can do that is Ableton. So there's that. It's the only DAW that has a free mastering DAW built in, that it'll do metadata. It'll help you look at your project holistically. So when I'm mastering albums, that's what I use. And the only other thing that does that, I can't remember the name of it right now, it's like $1,200. There's a mastering DAW out there that's like stupid expensive, and you get all those features in Studio One for free.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. We recently got Stem Splitter, which is dope. I think they all use the same algorithm. They all license the Stem Splitter from the same company, so that's neither here nor there. But at least it's there now. It can also do something else that only Logic Pro Tools could do before, which is Atmos mixing. You can do Atmos mixing in Studio One as well, so that's really, really dope. The new instruments are crazy good. The price is right at $200 for a perpetual license. What else? Do you have anything on your list over there?
No.
Oh yeah, and you can have, and you can have up to 5 computers on one license.
Integrated Melodyne.
Oh yeah, ARA. You don't have to have a separate track for Melodyne, or you don't have to have a separate track for Vocal Line either, which is really, really dope. So you have all your vocal stacks. You can make all of your vocal stacks sound like completely uniform, like built in. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so it says ideal user, singer, songwriters and musicians, producers and engineers, electronic music producers, home studio owners.
Yeah.
It sounds good, and
I mean, you gotta love Studio One. Dude.
You know what? You know what you should do?
What?
Dang it, I can't find it because my list is so freaking bleak and long.
Man, dang.
But
poor Studio One, so many features. Oh my goodness.
There are usually free versions of because I have every single thing
that's
we've
one
done
thing.
all day.
They don't have the free. Studio One Prime is gone.
Yeah. Logic's free little sister, whatever you want to call it, is GarageBand. That's why I got into Logic, because I had a computer and I had GarageBand, and then I was able to just switch over. I actually get quite a few people that record in GarageBand. It's really nice. I can just double click the project and it knows to convert it.
That's nice.
Which, if you're just recording vocals and stuff over 2-track beats, if you're that person, you don't need.
Swear to God, like you
crazy. GarageBand can get you all the way there.
100%.
Especially if you're having someone else mix.
But 100%.
That's pretty much it, guys. Use that knowledge and pick your DAW. Pick your poison.
Is there any dark horse DAWs that we haven't talked about that could be a thing?
What does that mean?
Like any DAWs that are like apparently like really, really good, but people don't really talk about. It used to be Studio One, but people are talking about Studio One now. But is there any DAW?
Reaper? Don't a lot of people use Reaper?
Yeah. Cubase. I feel like Cubase is very European. Like a lot of German producers.
And this is where we're getting into kind of just like random, like in my opinion, like these aren't your main pillars. You know what I'm saying? I'd say Studio One's just now getting into like it being in the conversation. If there's like it's always been Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton. Studio One is now in that list.
Wait, Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton.
I wouldn't even put FL Studio in there for like
FL. No, for sure. FL was one of the main ones.
I'm talking like for what you would imagine with like studios, right? You wouldn't imagine a studio being run off.
I still feel like most studios would probably have a license of FL before they have a license of Studio One. For the beat makers.
Probably.
But then the beat makers are bringing their own laptops and just auxing in the studio.
Okay.
But, I feel like Studio One's like, in a world where it's kind of hard to break anything new software-wise, they're doing their thing.
Yeah. Well, congratulations and thank you for sticking around for this 2024 presidential debate. I hope you'll pick me because I'm awesome.
And if anybody here will pick this guy. And we're out. Thank you.
So were you calling me Kamala?